The first couple of things that I want to go over, and you really start to see it when people ask me to build them axe, or how much does it cost to make an axe, or how much does it handle. My answer is always it depends. It's kind of like going into the store and asking for milk. There's skim milk. There's 2% milk. There's uh, whole milk. There's half and half, if you understand what I'm saying. So an axe, that's a pretty generalized type of thing. Basically, with axes, there's just a few different kinds of uh, actions that you do with an axe. One's chopping, one's splitting. So based on that, we can uh, kind of get you oriented in the right direction. The first thing is determining whether you have a splitting axe or a chopping axe. Uh, so let me get that set up, and we'll get right back. Okay, let's just take, um, we'll talk about single bits first. Single bit meaning one cutting edge, as opposed to a double with two cutting edges. Um, so let's say you've never done this before in your life and you're anxious to get out and buy something and get started. Well, um, I would approach it as, are you going to use it? Are you going to make display axes? What are you going to do? If you're going to make display axes, you really have a lot more freedom to do things and cross boundaries that if you're making a user axe, you can't. There's things that you can do that are not going to create a successful axe hang. Um, but the only way to get going is experience, 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 experience. And we'll talk about the tools later. But I just want to try to give you like a mindset of going out there. And uh, if you are wanting to make one to use, and you've never really used an axe before, and you're wondering and are thinking about maybe taking it up as a hobby. A lot of people like to split and chop, and I personally love splitting firewood with an axe. Not a maul, not the Fiskars, with an axe that I built and I've tuned up. Um, there's just something that I like about that. Basically, if you're going to go look at an axe and you're going to uh, maybe buy your first axe, or you're looking on eBay, you can tell. First of all, if like say I'm on eBay, if the pictures don't show a top view and a bottom view, I generally stay away from that because that means possibly that they're trying to hide something. And it also indicates some people just don't know any better. They're just selling axes, and uh, but it gives you an idea to be able to look down at the top. You can see what kind of condition the eye is in, and you can also tell what the axe is going to be used for. Now, if you see this very thin taper, that means it's a chopping axe. It's used for mainly, I would say, limbing a tree. Um, this would also be fine for taking down a tree. This is probably close to somewhere in the ballpark of 4 pounds. It's a big one. It's very nice too. Here we have uh, an extreme, kind of an extreme example, but I love this profile because it really gets the job done. This one's from Nova Scotia. This was I believe this was found on an old turpentine factory property that somebody was searching, and I don't see any embossing in it, but you can see the difference. This is way more triangular, and it's got a lot of weight. You can tell somebody used it as a wedge, which is a huge no-no. But I have actually, this actually came on a handle, and this thing is still a wood, what I call a wood bomb. But you can see two totally different profiles and two totally different uses. Now with the doubles, I'll try and find a double here just to illustrate this point. Okay, yeah, here's a pretty good example of it. This is a fairly nice double. If you look at this profile, now one is a little bit shorter than the other. However, if you notice how this is a little bit thinner than this, one side for splitting or roots, and the other side for chopping, limbing, bucking, whatever you want to do. Sort of a multi-purpose, multi-function type of axe head. And then as far as, that's just a brief overview, enough to get you started, to at least get you to know what you're looking at. The thing about eBay now is that the prices have gone haywire and everybody sells axes, and it's just a little hard to navigate. So what I'm hoping you'll get from this is that you'll be able to navigate, say, an estate sale or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, which are all legitimate places to find axes for sale. Some people get a metal detector and go out and start searching on their own, and there's amazing finds with the metal detector. I personally like the luxury of ordering an axe head and having it show up at my front door. Let's put it this way: it's best to have an idea in your mind, or to just kind of get an idea of what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Now, if you're given an axe, if it's free, then okay, yeah, it's a free axe. Those are the best kind, free. So then you kind of have to tailor what you're going to do to what somebody gave you. But it never hurts to be like, well, I really want to get into firewood, so I really think I want to make my first splitting axe. And so basically, that's just what you do. You go out and you find yourself something that isn't going to break the bank, but that you think is going to work, and you get your axe head, and then you look for a handle. Okay, so now that we've got our we've chosen an axe head, and let's say we're going to make a splitting axe, and we don't really have. We're going to be getting into making some firewood, and we're gonna try our hand at splitting some firewood. So, my personal recommendation would be to go with like a 34-inch handle, and so this is about right. If you can get to this point, you're doing pretty well. Now, it's obviously better to have no fit than it is to have too loose of a fit, because of the way this is going to go down and the physics and geometry and all of that stuff. We talked about a little bit about that in the previous video. But so this properly, somebody hung this upside down, which is typical of the older axes. They go to the easier, obviously people take a handle, whichever end fits, that's the end they're using. But if the drift is put through the axe correctly when it's forged, it's not going to work. Unless it's just a straight up and down type of situation with the eyes being the same size. Now that does happen, but with this one in particular, it's smaller. It's a V. It's smaller at the bottom and it's larger at the top of the eye, so that when you put your handle through, you come up and the eye is bigger. And the first third is going to be snug on the handle, and the last 2/3 are going to get expanded with the wedge, creating a lot of tension. That splaying action keeps the head on the handle. If you look at that, if you can see, like down at the base here, how this up here is wider than this down here. Now that's not to keep this from slipping off. That's actually forcing these sides of the axe handle to the sides of the axe head. And that pressure is what's holding this axe head on this handle. So, anyway, happy hunting. I will say that if you're going on eBay Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, any kind of forum that you're going to be looking at pictures, make sure that you get an up and down, you get to look at the top so you can see the profile and know what kind of axe you're buying. That'll help you a ton. A ton. So I think what we're going to do this next week coming up, we're going to go to a box store and we're going to pick out an axe handle. And we're going to have a budget of $20, maybe $15. And we're going to see what we can come up with. But don't worry about contouring the handle, the grip, or anything. We're going to focus on, as we go along with this little series, the next video is going to be getting it fit. So anyway, I hope y'all are doing well. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.